I'll kick it off right at 6:30, couple
Cool.
of minutes. Yeah.
Seems like everything's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, wonder where did I put it?
If you can't find your packet, you're welcome to look on with me.
Oh, no, I've got it.
Okay, oh, all
Yeah,
right.
I got it. I read it today.
Oh, I love having no paper.
I know, I literally, I promise it's that high. It's gotta be,
Now see this?
yeah,
Just move
it.
everything
right.
into Google Files.
I had one, I gave it away.
So Cooper wanted my Rocket book, notebook, so I gave that to him.
Oh, that's what I gave away. I thought that's what you had.
That's so remarkable. This is like a step up that the child does not get. Sorry, Cooper, if you're listening.
So I was looking at the pens for them. There's a secondary market one that looks like a pencil, and apparently it is a like really nice writing experience with it too. It's like supposed to be. worth
Is it magnetic though?
I think so. I think it
Because-
basically just plugs and plays.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because apparently it comes with tips, so you have to buy tips for it and buy extra tips. But I like the eraser.
Mhm.
I showed you that. Like,
Yeah.
I like the eraser on the bottom of it.
You're welcome to join us in here if you'd like.
Yeah, Chuck, come on in.
Okay, thank you.
More comfortable in here on these seats anyways.
How are you doing today?
Real good, sir.
I'm gonna put this on.
All right, it's 6:30, and I would like to welcome everybody to the Monday, July 25th, 2022, Idaho Springs work session. And first item on the agenda is the Lions Club sign request.
Mayor, Jared is logging in remote, and he is not on the meeting yet. Would it be all right if we move that in the agenda to, maybe I'll start off and then,
You bet.
okay,
We sure can. We can do that at the end if you want.
it shouldn't be too long. He should be here momentarily. He just told me he was coming, so-
No trouble.
Okay, well, Mayor and Council, we at our last meeting discussed the Wild Bunch shows that have been, the reenactment shows that have been happening in downtown Idaho Springs for the last 1.5 years. And at the end of the meeting, we had some public comment pro and against the show. And there was a pretty spirited discussion of City Council about the event. And I was directed to see if we could find any alternatives that might allow the show to continue or what might happen to the show. I worked with both the Wild Bunch crew and most of the people who spoke, save for the one resident, we weren't able to speak, but everybody else kind of gave me feedback about what had been happening. And we identified 4 alternatives: one, that there's no changes; one, that there's no firearms; one, that the show moves to an alternate location; and one, that shows are just completely discontinued. We went through each of the options, and we also looked at the municipal code, which is really critical for this decision because this decision involves property rights, which is a constitutional right, because there's been a license given to the Wild Bunch. And so we thought that in light of that, and because of the reasons that City Council has to take a license, the best alternative might be to modify the show to mitigate the negative impacts that have been expressed at that City Council meeting. We've done a couple of things that we think could potentially do that and allow the show to happen in a really safe and entertaining way. And that is what was identified at City Council, which was to move it to the south side of the train. The south side of the train has an open space over there that could be used for the show. It is more like a stage experience than what's happening downtown. And there's not buildings on both sides, so there's not going to be the amplification of the gunshots that we see in downtown. The other thing is we can put up a barricade maybe on the west side of the park that says the show is happening. We could work with the Wild Bunch to maybe get bigger signs or something to that effect. They can still do notifications like they have downtown. And we'll create like a really kind of a performance space there. Wild Bunch has also, of their own accord, gotten quieter ammunition And the thing about that is that it's just gonna really dramatically decrease the likelihood that somebody from a more, I don't wanna say remote, but a farther away position would hear it and mistake it for real gunfire. This ammunition isn't gonna sound like, it's gonna sound more like a small firecracker than a gunshot. It doesn't have the same kind of sound dynamics, which I know not everybody knows the difference, which is something we need to be careful about as well. But I do think that doing this would dramatically improve upon the situation that we heard about from downtown. Both of the business owners that are across the street that were here at city council have expressed to me that they are okay with this alternative. The one group from the site or the meadery, they are actually interested in working with you more in reenactment in Idaho Springs and getting, telling the history of this place and all that. And they'd love to participate. And I was thinking maybe that'd be a fall time thing. But for now, I think that we have really addressed the pretty critical concerns that are related to this in a way that I think kind of balances what we have is kind of a wicked problem here. We have two priorities, safety and security, and then also the rights of the Wild Bunch group and kind of the show that they've been giving. And so I think that we found a way to balance those for now. The other thing is that if we do this and it doesn't work out, we're not in any way limited to modifying it further or taking other action or anything like that. And so I think that in a lot of ways, this presents the best middle ground for everyone. But of course, that's your decision. In my staff report, I illustrated the next steps that would be taken either way. If council decides to allow the Wild Bunch to modify their amusement license, all that's required is that we change the address on the amusement license. That's it. So that can be done by Wonder. If you decide that you'd like to revoke the license, you must provide the Wild Bunch with 7 days notice. And then there must be a hearing where the Wild Bunch can state their case. And you'll have to make your decision based on 4 decision points that are listed in city code, which is in section 921. That's the revocation section of our code for licensure. I did put those into my staff report, the decision points, just so you could see them, but I wanted to just recommend that we go ahead with this modification. One last point, Linda Enochs, there was an email from her about that she's she's opposed to the show either way. And I wanted to make sure that was expressed in the packet because she wasn't able to come to public comment either. So I just want to make sure that that was fully expressed to everyone. So that's kind of the story about the Wild Bunch.
Jonathan, thank you. I did see Linda's letter, and I realize that no compromise is going to be perfect. But I think Chief and Art, if I'm correct on that, had suggested the south side of the train. I personally felt it was very reasonable, and the quieter ammunition also I think many folks would find a relief. So I'm for modification myself, but I really want to hear what the rest of the council has to say about it.
Is the modified ammunition, is that gonna be something that could be heard on I-70, Chuck?
2 weekends ago, I was in Kansas, and my hotel room, the window faced where they were doing the firing, and they were using black powder, which is noisier than what we had. And from inside the room, which is about 300 feet, I could barely hear the gunfire. And ours is going to be probably 70% of what we were firing.
Okay,
And then we did 4 shows. We're now going to do 3, and we're not going to fire as many shots.
I mean, I said it that day, I'm all for modification as long as it's not endangering or in someone's mind, they're being endangered. I think this is a good backdrop for you guys with the train.
I walked around it. I love it.
It's a nice spot, yeah,
I like the idea that they're making an effort to
absolutely.
reduce the sound.
I like the idea that it's compromised, that both parties are working so that all of our citizens are heard. I will say that I think since we as a city are willing to do this, I think it behooves us to put up more signage, like Jonathan mentioned in his report, we could do some of the yard sale signs. Like, I think that's on us, since we are making this compromise, that's something we should do.
I do want to say, one of the things that we have had a conversation about, and I think this is something that that you guys could talk about, is that the city is not paying for this show. This is something that they're doing that's a really big benefit to our city. And of course, we love having them here and everything like that. But I just want to say that we might potentially just want to think about that, and I'm happy, the signs we can get really quickly, but I just want to make sure that from a sponsorship perspective, that we're in the place that you guys would like us to be on that.
Can we see how it goes and then kind of make that expenditure? Let's see how if it's working out that back
But are we
there.
doing this the rest of the summer?
I mean, I think we still have to have some sort of like
think
if
we
it's
should
still
still
not
do
working
some-
out.
I think we should do a couple, like some signs of help out, like they've made efforts, I think. And particularly as we're not paying for this service and it is something, if you listen to people last week,
I think they did get a couple of signs, didn't you?
Pardon?
You did get a couple of signs, didn't you?
Yeah, we did have some, but that was right in the area where we were. Oh, I wanted to say one more thing. We're only gonna be able to, if it's approved Saturday, the 30th, and then the 20th of August, and that will be with 4 members. And then 2 of the members are going back to Arizona the first week in September, so we can do 3 Saturdays in September, but it'd be just 2 of us.
But I absolutely agree. It is a benefit to the city as far as sales tax, and I know visitors are coming to see it. So I think it would be in the city's best interest if we have some additional signage. I don't think, I think just community outreach is important at this point. So folks aren't surprised, number one, and number two, so folks who want to see the show know where to go, and see the show, because they are doing this with no sponsorship from the city.
You can get them printed, and we can of course use them in the future too, so you have them. They're corrugated plastic, so they'll last, and we can put grommets in them, so they just zip tie on and then you pull them off really easily.
Yeah, we have a banner that we do that.
Okay.
with also.
So I can get those made, and then we can just talk about where we put them and all that kind of stuff.
Maybe we get the train back, we're gonna have a train robber.
I thought of that
was
too.
thinking that.
Yeah, maybe we'll call it the not so great train robbery or something. All right, anything further on the Wild Bunch? All right, the city attorney, rate discussion.
Mayor and council, I just tee it off really quickly. Council Beery has not raised her rates in a very long time, and she does very good work for the city all the time and has been a great partner to us. And her costs are rising, inflation's at 9.1% now, and they've got pretty significant costs associated to running their business. And so she sent us a note about it being time to increase her rates. And so we wanted to bring it forward to you, just to be respectful of her time and the effort that she needs to engage in to run her business. And that's pretty much where we're at. Her letter in her packet kind of details the rates. It goes to $205 an hour for partners and special counsel. Associate attorney rates are proposed at $185.
Well, I
Mayor and
thought,
Council, I'm sorry, I'm here. Thanks, John. I didn't intend for you to carry my water in any way. Again, I spoke to Mayor earlier this week about this, and Council, this is probably my least favorite part of being a business owner, is having to go to customers and tell them that our costs are increasing and that therefore my rates are. So I don't like to do this often. I don't do this often. I hope not to do this anytime soon again. And I do want to express the joy I have, the pleasure I have working with the city and your staff. I love working with Idaho Springs. I hope I continue to do so, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Well, your services are invaluable, you and your whole group, so we do appreciate it, Carmen.
Thank you.
and I was just running some numbers, I think 5.5 years. Frankly, I'm surprised you haven't raised your rates a couple of times, 5.5 years, but that basically just puts you at an inflationary change is the only thing, so.
And Carmen has been kind enough to answer questions, at least for me, that I'm pretty sure she didn't bill me for or bill anybody for. So I do appreciate that as well. That's something that's probably unheard of in your world. No offense to the entire profession, of course.
You run at 15 o'clock.
I get it in there, like,
Right.
fast.
Speed talking. Yeah, right. And then you always ask, "Can you bill me for that?"
I did never
Right,
ask,
yeah.
I just assumed.
Good job, Carmen.
Thank you. Thanks, Mayor and Council. It's hopefully, even if you have questions after this of me and how we do business, how we bill our time, you're always welcome, as I've expressed before in meetings, to have access to those bills and invoices. I'm very careful to describe everything that I do because I'm accountable to the people of the city of Idaho Springs ultimately through you. So you're welcome to look at our billing practices and how we spend our time. And as I said in the memo, I hope that we are lucky enough to have a newer attorney. We're trying to grow our own instead of recruit others. Even though that takes some more effort, we are getting a new attorney who's taking the bar exam like tomorrow. So I hope to integrate him when it makes sense, when there's some savings there. So it's as a matter of business, it's on your agenda tonight under John's heading. I appreciate your consideration, Council, as always. So I'll stop now so you can talk about the Lions Club unless you have questions of me. I see Jared's on now.
Anything further from, for Carmen?
No, thank you, Carmen.
Yeah,
All right,
thank you,
well,
Carmen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Council.
Okay, lastly, we have Lions Club sign request.
Thank you. Can you hear me, council?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, fantastic. I do apologize for the technical difficulties and I had some dental work done earlier, so I apologize for the little change in my voice. But before you this evening, we do have a request from the Lions Club to place a banner on the fence at CRC Park. There is currently a seal, a Lions Club seal on the fence. We also do have one existing banner on the fence that indicates V Camp, the trail at V Camp is open. So this sign request is very similar. We're treating it very similar to the signage request that you received for the ball fields, where the city council is acting as landlords in this case. And we have an individual or a group that is requesting signage from a landlord. There are some restrictions in regards to the size of the sign, etc. Those have been complied with. The maximum size is not being exceeded or height. And with that, I would turn it over to the petitioner for any comments that they may have.
Please.
That's me.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Mayor and Council. Yes, I filled out the form, knowing that we had to do so to get a sign. And our Idaho Springs Lions Club has been around since 1952. And we're all older now. And what we're really trying to do is recruit younger people so that we can keep the Lions Club going. We do so much in the community and in the state and in the nation and internationally, because this is an international organization. And we thought maybe with a little more verbiage on a sign that people walking by, you know, especially in the park area there, using the park, might get a sense that they might be interested in getting involved with us.
Is there any way that you can put your number, like some contact info in there?
We can, because we have a president number that doesn't belong to anybody. It just becomes the president.
Because
the
I
current
think
president.
The one thing I noticed in the sign is it's not really telling people that you want people to join. So, I mean, I'll
Yeah,
just,
the verbiage is
You wanna-
for.
yeah, tweak it so that, you know, we want young blood. Come on, you
Okay.
know.
Like
I love the Lions Club because I do all my son, you know, all my bosses go to you guys do terrific things with that, so it's amazing.
And obviously, it's not a completely permanent sign, but we'd like to have it up as long as it holds up, and perhaps when it deteriorates. I don't see those signs deteriorating very quickly. Those.
Is it one of the canvas ones?
Yeah, I
gotcha.
mean, they seem to hold up a long
And Mary,
time.
what's it say?
I can read it for you. Because I wanted to list the local projects that we have, like eyeglasses, eye exams, sign screenings for children, scholarship opportunities, local health fair, and flag hanging on holidays. And the flag hanging actually pays for our scholarship. And state, national, and internationally, we have the Rocky Mountain Eye Bank, and that's in Denver, Colorado Lions Camp in Woodland Park, Rocky Mountain Eye Institute in Denver, International Hearing Dogs, Leader Dogs for the Blind, and LCIF, which is disaster relief, all around the world, locally, wherever. That's a big Lions thing, and a lot of money goes into that. And that's what it says there. Besides,
So that's what's on the application.
that's a little hard to read, obviously, trying to show it in perspective. And that we wanted people to know that 100% of the donations go to the Lions, local, national, and international programs. Anything that the Lions themselves with their membership dues every year, that pays for administrative costs. So anything else just goes straight
That's
to
awesome.
good work.
Awesome.
You guys are part of the flags too, yes? Yeah. For the,
We do put up the flags on 11 holidays. We don't do the highway, the blue ribbon highway, that's Troy. Uh-huh.
right. But here in town though.
Yeah.
yes. All right.
And even all through town, the businesses, we just try and contact everybody
Yeah.
and they pay it $25.
$25, yeah. it's-
Yeah, for us
it's
to,
Very,
hang
very
flags.
reasonable as far as
yeah.
that goes. yeah.
I have no problem with the sign.
No,
Not at all.
absolutely not.
Yeah, I kind of felt that council, does anyone have any heartburn about it?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for coming. and seeing
Okay,
us.
yes, indeed.
Yeah, I just didn't know what it said.
Right.
specify
Well,
that.
I thought that I had sent one along with it. It was
No,
the big version, I'm sorry.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Put your number up, definitely.
Yeah, put your number, and I'll
Oh,
pass it
yeah,
around.
and I'll get that,
Do you guys have
reworded.
Facebook presence at all?
Not too much yet.
If you want to send me something, I'll post on Idaho Springs Community.
That
Okay.
community page. would be more
Yeah.
posted.
Okay.
Mayor-
that's all.
Mayor and council, it sounds like I have direction to move forward with the sign permit. Was there a timetable that you had in mind, or was it more along the lines of as proposed for when the sign deteriorates before it gets to it is a banner, so, it will deteriorate after time.
I think that's actually all our signs, by the way, that it's in the code that they have to be
Yearly,
a
right?
certain standard.
Yes, there is a kind of a property maintenance type of a standard in regards to signs as well. So,
Right.
but I was just curious if you had a different sunset or if you wanted to go with the deterioration sunset.
I would prefer to go with deterioration myself.
Yeah, I don't want to put a day on
I
it,
don't wanna
but
put a
it's
timeline on it.
still
Well, is it
perfectly
an
fine.
annual renewal for the sign anyway?
I don't think so, not unless they change it.
Well,
So typically,
an application for them for the sign though,
They
yeah?
only have to do it once unless they change the sign, Jimmy. That's my understanding.
Oh, okay. So they don't have to apply.
I don't think so. Carmen,
Is that
no?
correct?
Yeah,
They
right,
don't.
typically for a banner sign that's put up by a business, it is a 60-day permit. However, nonprofits, et cetera, have some different regulations. And I've indicated the two regulations that they do have, which are they're based on size and location rather than longevity. So.
Right, and this is half the allowable square footage, so.
Right. I just figured if it was an annual renewal, then it would know we gotta replace the sign.
Right.
Yep.
I get you, like a little reminder.
Yeah, right,
Mhm.
right. But since it's not.
Mary's gonna
That's a
do it.
good question. Good question, Jimmy.
Okay,
She's taking care of the flags, I think she can
Sure.
do banner.
absolutely.
Okay.
All right, well, it is 6:52. If folks want to take 5 or 8 minutes, we'll come back and
Mary, you know how to get in touch with me when I send that. So go ahead.
I think I have it on my phone, anyway.
I'll give you my number. Sorry, Jeff.
oh, that's okay. I was just saying, we'll reconvene at 7 p.m.
Worried about that? It seems like it was like, emailed you about.
Yeah, I'll put it on a bunch of the stuff, like I have St. Mary's, I have, Georgetown, so I'll put it on all those.
Oh, that's
things
okay,
that I get
no, it
done.
was about my.
And I might, I'll get with Jim White, because he's trying to do most of it.
Yes, that's my neighbor.
It's
Because I said.
actually, once you get on there, and you just send reminders, it's really pretty.
John? Mark, good. How are you, sir? Yeah, they broke one pretty bad today. Bad now. Yeah. That one actually does. Yep. Yeah, it is. Well, they're contemplating still extended warranty program on that. Might be covered under that 500.
Oh, don't worry about that. I will look out that this week.
We're talking 15,000.
Do I need?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
Yeah.
So
So.
hopefully not.
Okay, I get it,
but
we'll see. Okay, that sounds good to me. But that sounds good. I'll give it a quote.
Yeah, we'll be sure.
No, this is one that John had. That was like-
Yeah.
Hey, thank you.
The old cemetery.
Where?
I don't know, John, where's the old plaque map you found that had the cemetery?
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I know.
really? Sure, it's
I'm just nervous.
You can see them.
Well, all that
Jimmy? I'm good.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I was gonna bring
Yeah,
my
I can
pictures
show it
this
to you.
week, but
Yeah, so I just think I know.
Again.
Yeah,
I'm like,
just
I'm
barely
never getting
small
out
enough
camping.
windows.
I did.
Well-
You can't get over children,
I don't really know
Huh?
You can't get over children.
Yes, yes.
some kind of class.
Nobody else got it? Everything's good? But, no. I
Yeah, it
actually
was
have
pretty
some
visible,
personal
because it was right at
business
the
I have to
exit
take
of
care of.
103.
And I'm
Right.
like, I can't leave. You know how that goes. Like, I know, you know how that goes.
Oh, dude, all too well. All too well.
But you're like, oh, wow. You know what it is? It's just one of those signs where I'm like,
You know.
How's it going?
You
good? How you doing?
Good, good, good. Lose my house. Used it twice.
it lives in your house. Go ahead,
So
John.
I get it. I get it.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna have to winter camp,
Yeah.
you know, and just to get some use out of it this year.
Right.
Kelsey, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I'm traveling a lot in the fall, so there's no camping to be had.
Yeah. Well, I like to winter camp. We saw it, so.
I went camping in March and it snowed half the week that I was there.
Oh, yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, I've been on rabbit ears where I woke up and there is no snowmobiles.
Rabbit ears is crazy. I went over
It
that
is crazy.
when I first moved here and I was in my
That's just,
meeting and I was with my mom and my little kids.
It is insane.
And I was like, oh my God, and we drove that whole thing. And they were all crunched up in the back because they were like, oh my God. because I-
Jonathan, you want the
I
office
didn't
door
realize.
shut?
Oh, yeah, it's probably good.
Positions.
I live right on the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, I've driven out here. Got those two big new street lights that they put on right on the window. I haven't.
How are you, bud?
I haven't
Not too bad, how
upgraded
about you, Jimmy?
To motion sensor lighting or cameras. Right. Just that's the age we live in. So I'm curious. Just put the lighting.
It's good for you.
Yeah.
The weather didn't seem to deter anybody.
I'll, weather didn't cooperate around.
No, it didn't.
That,
folks
I mean,
pre-party.
the bar, Real bar, I think that part is old.
I don't know, if someone just like drove down their mind.
That's a huge. Well, before it ever even happened, I was talking to, I don't know, it's right, and I was, yeah, they're very, I was seeing it open a lot to the steering wheel. That's what it was, I was going, oh, they'll just check it out and they'll cut it. Yeah, right there. So that's, I got on there now and the bar. Okay. What I've done to turn out the people that drive it. I just say that.
We had I went to his house and drive off for 2 hours about this.
Well, I just don't, I was curious.
It's got basically.
When I was working, driving. Right. Now I.
Are you talking that you talked to Dan?
Because it gets good.
Well, I was there for 2 hours and wanted to know,
I
said,
drive.
council has very different personalities. This isn't a group that would let somebody just be bullied or run over. We're not just gonna have, you know, parking at any cost and make it burdensome or threaten their survivability of your work.
Good, because I think that's what, I've been telling people, I said, just so you know, I'm never gonna vote for a lien on someone's property simply because they can't afford to be a part of this. You know, and I think the people that I've talked to have wanted to work with us, some sort of payment plan, but they just, you know, they don't want to go into their pocket, especially at this moment in time.
So we gotta have most people.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess it was
Number one.
yeah.
I mean, could it be based on
lighting in.
their
But
annual,
even,
whatever their income, whatever they, could it be based on that? No? Why?
It changes.
Well, I know.
Building use changes.
Well, I mean, no, but I'm saying that's per business, that's what I'm saying, is it really can't be per building, it has to be per business.
You don't think you come to meetings.
Oh, that's right.
We will in the
I think it
future,
would be very
Yeah.
fair.
you know, and it'll.
I forget when I'm sitting up there, I just really talking about everything.
If it was just, if it was just you and Scott.
I got you. I don't break such a. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Property crime here, because lower on the scale. Property crime.
Okay.
Different ways to try to figure it out.
I know, and it's not really one, because my brain doesn't wrap around that stuff very easily.
My humble opinion, all the things I've read, what, when you do that, when you don't hold people accountable, some people are found that they need.
Jonathan, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I would just like to announce before we get going, if anybody would like to speak on a public comment, please sign up on the sheet. And
Oh, yeah, do you want the sheet, Mayor?
I'm sorry.
Would you like the sheet, sir?
Yeah, if there's anybody on there, thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nobody on there? Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it is 7:01. I would like to welcome everybody to the regular council session of July 25th, 2022. Roll call, please.
Mayor Chuck Harmon,
Here.
Scott Pennell. Here. Mark Ackerville.
Here.
Kate Collier.
Here.
Lisa Manifold.
Here.
John Curtis.
Here.
Tim Clark.
Here.
All right, everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. We have an agenda before us this evening. May I have a motion?
I move to approve the agenda for July 25th, 2022.
Thank you, Kate. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We have the bills before us. Do I have a motion?
Conflict of interest, sir.
Oh, okay. Jimmy will be abstaining. Do I have a motion?
Move approval minutes first.
Oh, sorry, and thank you, Scott. We have the minutes from the last meeting. May I have a motion, please?
I move to approve the minutes from July 11th, 2022.
All right, thank you, Scott. Do I have a second? Thank you, Art. Now, for the bills, do I have a motion?
I move to approve the bills to July 25th, 2022.
All right, thank you, Art. And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Mayor Jeff Harmon,
Yes.
John Curtis,
Yes.
Scott Pennell,
Yes.
Art Cacavelli,
Yes.
Kate Collier,
Yes.
Lisa Manifold,
Yes.
Jim Clark.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, another procedural mess up on my part. Under the approval of the minutes, we had a first, we had a second, and I would just like to ask all those in favor, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you very much. Now for public comment. Do we have any public comment? Anybody online or anything tonight, Jonathan?
No, sir.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, Mayor, if this is appropriate, but Dennis, did you have something this evening, sir? For public comment?
I'm just listening.
Okay, all right, thank you. I just wanted to make sure you didn't miss the sign up sheet, that's all.
Well, I know the routine.
I know you do.
I'm just listening for
Sure,
comment down the road.
perfect.
All right, we'll move to resolutions and hearing. We'll open a hearing for the city's participation in the paid family medical leave insurance program. We will open it at 7:05. And have we received any comments from any of our employees regarding this matter, Jonathan?
No, sir.
And I see we don't have anyone in the audience to speak to this. Before I close the hearing, does anyone on council have anything to add to this? All right, well, thank you. The hearing will be closed at 7:06. And we will move on to resolution number 15, series 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve resolution number 15, series 2022. A resolution declining the city's participation in the paid family leave insurance program.
Thank you. And do I have a second? Art, second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Jeff Harmon,
Yes.
John Curtis,
Yes.
Scott Pennell,
Yes.
Art Cacavelli,
Yes.
Kate Collier,
Yes.
Lisa Manifold,
Yes.
Jim Clark.
Yes,
All right. Moving to resolution number 14, series 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll make
Okay, Scott.
I move to make the motion, resolution number 14, series 2022, a resolution calling a special municipal election to be coordinated with the state general election on November 8th, 2022 for purposes of referring at least one ballot question to city electors.
Thank you, Scott. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Jeff Hartman,
Yes.
John Curtis,
Yes.
Scott Pennell,
Yes.
Art Cacavelli,
Yes.
Kate Collier,
Yes.
Lisa Manifold,
Yes.
Jim Clark.
yes,
All right, we will move to resolution number 12, series 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve resolution number 12, series 2022, a resolution accepting construction of the city of Idaho Springs Water Resource Recovery Facility Project number 2, secondary treatment project.
Thank you, Kate. And do I have a second?
Second.
First and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Yes.
John Curtis.
Yes.
Scott Pennell.
Yes.
Art Cacavelli.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Lisa Manifold.
Yes.
Jim Clark.
Yes.
Okay, we do not have any ordinance first readings tonight. We don't have any second readings. City attorney is up. Carmen, do you have anything else for us?
No, sir, Mayor and Council. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The city administrator had no staff report submitted. He is out of state. And then we have in the administration department, the assistant city administrator, Jonathan, you did have one request for action.
Yes, sir. Just move to approve the proposed amended city attorney rates.
Yes, and do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the proposed amended city attorney rates.
I second.
All right, I have a first and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Yes.
John Curtis.
Yes.
Scott Pennell.
Yes.
Art Cacavelli.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes,
Lisa Manifold.
Yes.
Jim Clark.
Yes.
we're going for a record here.
Yeah. All right. The deputy city clerk staff report was submitted with one request for direction.
Mayor and Council, Wonder is not able to join us this evening. We have had requests for a vendor's license downtown, which requires city council approval. You can see in your staff report what our question is. I think there is a larger policy point that needs to be decided by council at a later work session. We typically don't bring a vendor's application to you until it is completed. This potential vendor is a relatively long-standing business owner in Idaho Springs who's just recently lost their physical location. I think that what they're planning would comply with our code. I think that there's two questions. One is we would like to have a work session with council on this topic at a later date. And two, if a vendor's application is brought and it complies with all code requirements, the only thing that it would need approval for is that it's in a historic district. We wanted to see how you might handle that because it would be, the reason being that it would be a few weeks until we're able to bring it back to city council, so.
Jonathan, I was looking at that request and really it is a non-competitive business.
Right,
Yes.
and I think
And-
that's in our code, that was one of, not our code, but in our discussion, that we were okay with vendors if they were non-competitive to the businesses downtown.
Well, yeah, and it's always been a long-standing a brick and mortar
Mhm.
business up until recently. And if project support, would back this, I don't know why. And I'm speaking to this case. I don't know why we wouldn't go ahead and approve that.
Okay.
Does anyone have any objection to that?
No, can I ask a question though, Chuck? Can any business like invite a vendor onto their property?
Well, and that's what we're gonna discuss in a further work session.
Okay, all right, I'm.
But I'm suggesting in this case,
Right.
that this be approved.
Okay,
They're a nonprofit. The question, the ultimate question there is, should a business that gets a free encroachment agreement on city right away be able to lease that space out? And I think that maybe we could handle that differently and still promote the vendors downtown, which is something that could be beneficial to us.
right. I think in that case, project support was even mentioning that on their deck.
Yeah.
Which doesn't encroach onto the city
Right.
at all, so.
This is kind of a special case in a lot of
It
ways,
is.
which is why we want to ask you in advance the
Yeah.
application.
Cool, thanks.
So Mayor and Council, would the direction be to, if we get the application and complies with code, to allow that license, or?
I think that's what I'm hearing. Would everybody be all right with that?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Oh,
As
oh,
long as this goes with just this particular case.
Yes.
And then we revisit our overarching policy.
Lisa, I agree. And in this case, with this nonprofit having it on their porch, it'll be restricted to this one, but we will work on this in a further work
I just
session.
don't want to hurt our brick and mortar businesses.
Right, exactly. Jonathan, that I believe would conclude the direction that's needed, right?
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Okay. All right, our community development planner had no staff report. Finance officer, do we have her tonight?
She is not here this evening.
Okay, all right. And then, Chief, you've submitted a report, no request for action, nothing new, for us tonight?
No, as you can see in the staff report, I think we're excited to move back to 10-hour shifts starting next Monday. So I know
Yeah.
the employees are excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
With new hires?
Yeah, the one hire is now off of training, so.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What a relief for all your crew.
Right.
Yeah, right on.
And you guys just had somebody start academy as well?
Correct.
Excellent.
So two new coming.
Well,
One on and then one more coming on.
We do have an opening. We're announcing a testing date of August 24th for the one vacancy that we do have.
Good job, chief, man. It's
Yeah.
hard to get people, dude. You scored 3, that's
Yeah,
pretty commendable.
any chance we can meet them? I would rather not get a ticket. To meet them.
Yeah, they gotta have big, they
Have
gotta,
them drop by one of the
they gotta
councils.
carry photos of each one of us up here all the time.
I mean, I don't want to be caught speeding by somebody I don't know.
No, well, certainly the person that's in the academy, once he graduates from the academy, he will attend a council meeting, basic, as a swearing in and
Well,
introduction.
Yeah, he'll be sworn in
The
front of
other
us.
person
and-
that you
yes.
have met,
You met him.
Matthew Moore,
Yeah.
right, he was here.
Cool.
Up at the
How
back.
long is the training in the academy?
He will join us December 1st, so it's all the way just to Thanksgiving
Wow,
is when.
wow.
Yeah.
Good job. Congrats, chief. That's commendable.
And
Yeah.
council
Wow.
probably knows, Gilpin County and, our own county, haven't had it perpetually. It's been up for in both cases. I've seen those ads up for months.
Well, we're 12 deputies short in Arlington County. And they're over 20 in Gilpin. My daughter works for dispatch over in Gilpin,
Wow,
and they're
20 short,
20 plus.
man.
Like street cops that they've ultimately decided that their 24-hour shifts are over with. They'll work basically a day in a swing, and that's it. So I think our county, when they can, they cover over there, but other than that, they're not even scheduled.
How many officers do they have?
I don't know,
It's a big one.
well, it's a humongous county, but
Park's doing the same thing, Jim.
Yeah.
They went, oh, no night patrol
no night patrol. Yep, it's very common.
in Park County.
Wow. Well, great news, chief. Glad
That's
to
why,
hear.
that's what I'm saying, that, with
Nobody.
Nate being, so involved in everything else, he's actually found that, helping and to get your staff and your team down at a 10-hour shift is really commendable. That's
Yeah.
That's a huge deal in comparison to even surrounding areas that, they can't do. So congrats, sir.
We're fortunate.
Yeah.
And, Mr. Bardoni, nothing new to share with us tonight, right?
No, Mayor and Council, you have staff report and just the latest reservoir dam inspection.
Yeah, thank you. And actually, that inspection looked pretty good.
It did.
Yes, it
I
did.
read through that.
Yes.
All right, we'll move on. There's no committee reports. There's no city clerk treasurer report. Down on mayor and council, I just want to thank everybody's effort. And we are going to be having the next work session August 8th and regular council meeting on August 8th. And I just want to thank everybody, and we'll be seeing you then. Is there anything further?
Chuck, I just like to, Libby has asked me, Libby's the director of the library, and she has asked me that we need to discuss some sort of short-term plan for the park, library. Weed whacking the weeds or something. I know you sent it out for rebid, John, but it looks pretty gnarly.
I'm 4 people short. We do what we can do.
Yeah,
Everything gets a turn eventually.
yeah.
Can we get some volunteers? Maybe Kate? I'd be happy to throw a weed whacker down there.
Here, and that's cool. I mean, certainly we could weed back too. I think what the concern is that when the city took over the property, I personally thought it was a big deal. Like I thought, how are they gonna do this when, John's,
It is a big deal.
when John's perpetually understaffed, so I didn't think it was a good idea, but that was not on my time. Now that it's happened, we're still looking at this, with, the city took on more work, but we don't have anybody to do it, so.
Well, I got a lot more property than you, and Zach yells at me for my weeds, so I might as well just do mine and yours too.
I mean,
Right, chief?
we were gonna talk about this, like maybe getting a volunteer neighborhood thing to do our streets.
I'm more than happy, I'm serious, I'm more than happy to do it.
Kate, that actually, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, we need to reach out, because like our street, Wall Street is a mess, it's just got another new weed that's I've never seen before is popped
With
up
the
everywhere.
rain, all the weed barriers have gone completely to pot.
Yeah,
Well, and I think since we lost Ted from the county, as far as the noxious weed guy, everybody kind of laughed at him for doing what he did.
he's great.
And, and you notice there's no more of Ted.
So
So
there's nobody else
he,
like that,
he,
yeah.
he killed, I think, every square inch of clematis in this town.
Yeah.
Single-handedly, but we haven't seen him around either, so I don't.
I know Ted's around, I mean, I've seen,
Yeah, he still lives here in town, but I don't think he does,
No.
I don't think he does that, and now you're exactly right, Lisa, there's more and more and more stuff that you see
Yeah,
get germinated year by year by year.
Yeah.
So,
Lisa, you clarify pot?
I know.
Oh, not that kind of pot.
Oh, I just want to be sure you.
It's gone downhill, like my weed barrier lasted for a year. Okay. the
Art
rain
just
that
wants
all
something
time.
free, that's all he wants.
John, does the city
You want the
have
free
a contract with, somebody that cuts down dead trees?
You're not supposed to say that on
Don't have a contract,
You don't have, do we have
Who cares?
somebody that we recommend?
whoever I can get.
I know, I mean, I'm asking personally, but there are 3 dead trees on the street and these are neighbors' yards, but I think that's one of, we've got fire mitigation that probably should happen on Wall Street, the wall of Wall Street. I'd like to have it taken care of. I just was wondering if you knew anybody. I can't get anybody to come.
The last person that I used was the neighborhood tree guys at Westland Town.
Oh, yeah.
Like lamb tree out of Evergreen, Ryan will take care of it though.
Does not take down trees anymore.
Right.
All
Ryan
they're
doesn't?
doing is planting and trimming.
He just did
Is that tree
eight
guy still in
over,
town? Okay.
John, he just did 8 of
They're
them
big.
over at my
The
place.
2 big dead ones.
Okay,
Red,
'cause
you
I
can see
called
them
them
in your
and I
house,
said,
all
"No,
the
I
red
do."
ones on the side of the mountain.
He'll do it. As a matter of fact, I towed one of his trucks last week and he said he'd be interested in bidding our Christmas lights too. So
Well, I
coming
know
up
he did it one time, but he couldn't reach the trees.
on
So-
Christmas lighting,
Yeah,
oh, we don't, okay.
Well, it'd be nice to have it, because I know with insurance, like one of the things that my insurance company always asks is how many trees are on the property, how many dead trees, because we are a hotspot as far as insurance
Yeah.
challenges for a fire zone.
And I, like Jim, own some property and I got complained to by Zach, so I took care of my weeds and it took me 6 to 8 hours last weekend.
Oh, yeah, but yeah, it's
And
no,
I-
it's no
I
joke.
had
I
a
mean,
citizen complain about weeds in town, so.
Yep.
I think it's something we need to address at
Scott,
some point.
I'm glad you brought that up. I've got probably an hour's worth of weed whacking myself.
Okay, so what I think would be a cool thing, and the library has the library of things that you can check out, when that's hotspots, computers, an Instapot. If we could get a very good quality industrial weed whacker that we could have at the library, it could be checked out. That's awesome for us, because we get stats on that. And then we can kind of like say, I know this is, I don't even know what the pushback's gonna sound like. John already knows, he knows what it's gonna sound like. I don't even know what it's gonna sound like. But it could be like, hey, this is an industrial thing.
they're
You can
cheap.
borrow it, you don't have to have, well, yeah, the library would buy it. You don't have to own this, but would you volunteer to do your street? I'm sure Doug would do our street. I'm sure Johnny would do our street. So, we know that this one, then we could pass it on to Chuck and,
I actually like that idea, because I love that our library gives out, like, I didn't know you had an Instapot, but I love that the library will rent so many things, and it makes it easier for people to.
She left out books though.
you can't,
Do
we
they-
do have books.
Okay, I was
That's
just.
kind of an
We're still
understanding.
in the business of reading.
Well, we're talking about weed whackers, so we got
I can
books
talk-
and weed whackers. I
And
mean,
Instant Pots. they're
Yeah.
good Instant
And an
Pots.
air fryer.
So Kate, if my business donated
Weed whacker?
a BA weed whacker
Yeah, we
to
could
the
take it.
to the library.
Yep.
You would,
We could give you a receipt for your donation and we would put it in our
Yeah.
system and you could come and check it out.
with like a case of oil and gas to deal with it,
Ruby,
then it
totally.
wouldn't be an issue.
Nope.
Very generous, Jimmy.
Okay, done and done, so. Are you there tomorrow?
I am there tomorrow,
I'll have
9 to 5.
it there tomorrow.
You're awesome.
All right, cool.
Yep. I mean, I have, Libby's gonna be like, what's this weed whacker doing here, but I'll make sure.
We're gonna put smell lights.
I mean, is Libby watching? I don't even know.
We're gonna tag you with smell light stickers. Just to let you
That's
know.
totally fine.
All right.
I'm glad you brought that up.
All right.
It's obviously,
And us too. Me
we've
too.
made some progress.
Yes.
Good, yeah, I think it's great. I like it. And I like the community effort. I think we'll get a lot of people to help us.
I don't believe, we're gonna have a meeting next Monday.
No, not till
Yeah,
That's
so
15th.
August 8th.
All right. Yeah, sorry.
Well, is there anything further before I adjourn?
No, sir.
All right, we are adjourned at 7:23. Thank you very much, everyone.
And what's the name of that company? You guys?
The neighborhood.
Yeah,